Hello, y'all. It's 11:15 p.m. Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about how my day went today, but I have a lot on my mind. Um, excuse me. So, if you got spare time, I have a couple of videos from earlier. So, I woke up to more harassment from David Jane, and I screenshot it and put it in a community post. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him though. So if you don't want to be friends, then just leave me alone and back off. But why the hell you just you think, and I can tell that I know that David be laughing. He makes all these he'll try to make 17 comments or 58 comments and somehow get it all in less than 5 minutes. Like, you just created an account 5 minutes ago. And that's what they come on my channel and do, whether it be TikTok or YouTube. They'll come on my videos and even comment under my supporters' comments on my videos and trying to manipulate and turn them against me. And it's like, I can't believe David Jane having this much so-called power over me. Now, he even lied to people and successfully turned other targeted individuals against me. And, had them stop supporting me. But David ain't doing this on his own, though. He ain't smart enough to think like this for himself. Other people guiding him and putting stuff in his head. And he does like what the fake TI perps do. Repeat what the rest of the regular perps do and say about me. So this morning, the perps, I think that's the fake Darnell Williams sex trafficker that's behind that fake ass Menace to Pensacola account. And fraudulently and illegally getting over 1,000 views and so many likes and comments. And, y'all can see their vitriol and hatred for me over there. Talking about some Menace to Pensacola. And, as I said, they manipulated my videos to make me look a certain way. So that they'll be like, oh, well, if you don't give Candy money. I mean, and my twin sister started all this, after I exposed her as a perp. So, now, it's like, as I said, it's like David Jane, he was my friend. And now he's acting like one of my twin sister's flying monkeys, even though my twin sister backed off and left me alone. And she's pretending like she's the doggone victim. But, she kept up certain videos that she wanted to keep up about me. And, manipulated and lied and said that I'm a fake target or that I'm scamming and deceiving the TI community. And other perps have put her up to saying all these things about me. And even my own twin sister has such strong hatred and hostility towards me. But I had to hear narcissistic lectures for years about how I'm so hateful. So, I'm about to raise the temperature. I only saw a spider in here tonight. And also one gnat. So, I hate that I have to keep the house cold as a way to, I have to keep the house uncomfortably freezing cold in order to keep the pests, in order to deter the pests. um, but I'm raising the temperature from 62 to 72. I'm raising the temperature like 10 more degrees in order for me to be comfortable so I can sleep tonight. I'm surprised that I'm feeling sleepy right now. So for my twin sister to lie and say that I'm scamming and cheating and manipulating people, you know, and it's like for her to have her heart that hardened towards me. But I have to hear so many narcissistic lectures about how I'm so hateful and evil. The perps falsely call me evil when it's them. You know. So that's what they'll do. They'll antagonize, provoke, and trigger and manipulate you, and then when you strike back with the reactive abuse, then all of a sudden you're the one that's so evil, or they be like, oh, Candy's not innocent, or Candy's not the victim. Well, you sure damn ain't. So and everything that comes out of David James' mouth is a total lie. Nothing he says is true. Like, really? But you're the one that's supposed to be mentally challenged, right? You're the one living in a group home, can never live independently, can never live by yourself, never had your own place, can never take care of yourself. But, oh, you think you're better than me, though. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I don't know why he been just like, it's like I haven't even been speaking about David lately, and he been just coming to fuck with and harass me like every day ever since Thursday or Friday. And then he knows when I'm asleep. If I take a nap in the afternoon, he'll say something. Or if I'm sleeping at night or away from my phone, he will say something. It's senseless what they're doing. And then other perps see that. And, you know, as I said, y'all giving the perps all these thumbs up. Y'all defending the wicked. I mean, y'all sit there, y'all are okay with trafficking people? I'm sitting here fighting for my independence. Fighting for self-sufficiency. I mean, y'all wicked asses was what got me homeless. No, I'm talking about the whole entire gang stalking network. And I'm glad that there are, luckily, a few people who don't fall for those schemes. You know, fall. I mean, but it's sad that the majority of the professed targets even, you know, believe the perps and then go along with the slander campaign. I can't wrap my head around it. Stop calling yourselves chosen and Christian and believers and rapture ready. Stop it, please. So, you know, I woke up to David Jane harassing me. And then, like, they had this lady on TikTok that did a video, you know, about her mom, you know, violating her son, if you get what I mean, you know. Well, grandma violated grandson, you know, the perverted way. So, I said, well, I mean, the lady was crying out for help, and she said, well, it's a shame I got to come to TikTok for this. So, people were, you know, asking, I mean, people, they had a couple of other people who suggested that she put up a GoFundMe and tell her story as well. I mean, so I'm sitting here, well, I said, was there any way you can put up a GoFundMe or Give, Send, Go or something like that? And I got at least 3 people jumped on and attacked me. And I'm like, damn, for what? You know, if other people were trying to say she didn't need a GoFundMe and stuff like that. And then they had this abusive, narcissistic lady. It was a white female named Samantha who got on my case. She was the first one, got on my case and yelled at me and falsely accused me of encouraging the lady to profit off of her son in a perverted way. And I didn't mean anything like that. You know, when she said she needed help, I mean, if she said she was that it was a shame she had to come to TikTok to do it, I mean, I figured that if she crying out for help, I'm thinking, you know, if she might need help with legal funds for legal, legal funds to fight CPS or whatever in court to get her son back. So this lady, this Samantha person just devoured and attacked it. And then there was a couple of other people like, oh, what she need to GoFundMe for? Well, you're the only one who got something bad to say, but I got over 350 likes on that repost. Like, what the hell? So, and then there was another person who said, you know, I understand perfectly what you're trying to say, and don't let, you know, she gave some encouraging words saying, don't let negativity, you know, get your day down or whatever, you know. So, I, like, because of last night, I didn't get to fall asleep until, what time was it? It felt like probably sometime about 4 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me. And then I woke up at, I think, 9:30. And I felt the sleep deprived. I tried to go back to sleep and couldn't, but I felt the sleep deprived feeling all day. And then I told y'all that I fell asleep at just before 4 o'clock, and my sleep was kind of spotty. But I woke up at 7 and then kind of slept a little longer, and then officially and finally woke up at 7:30. So earlier it was probably 1 or 2 o'clock was the first time I ate or drank anything today. And I had more chicken. Well, I had more chicken, and I had, I had more chicken, and I had, cake, the last of the cake, because I didn't want the cake to go bad. Even in the freezer, it doesn't seem like the food was, you know, it's like if the cake would dry out, or if the ice cream doesn't stay frozen, or if the bread doesn't stay frozen, or it dry out and stuff, or, so I had cake and chicken and I guess about a half of a peach. One peach, I think I'm going to have to throw the whole thing away because it's really no good. And me sitting here eating one piece of fruit a day has, you know, I had to throw some fruit away because like those lemons and like 2 lemons I had to throw away. And you know, tomorrow I'm going to have to hurry up and eat the mango before it goes bad. And so I had 2 pieces of fruit throughout the day. So I had the peaches. I had one peach. Yeah, that's what I had. I had cake, chicken, and a peach for lunch. No breakfast. But then for so-called dinner, I had the last of that peanut butter. I had a peanut butter sandwich with the Ezekiel 4 and 9 bread. And with all that fiber and stuff, I could only eat one sandwich. And with that being real peanut butter, just one sandwich will hold me over and have me full, But if it's junk food white bread and junk peanut butter, that'd be like, nowadays you can't even find peanut butter for $1 anymore. So if you have that junk peanut butter with hydrogenated oils, and I mean, of course, I end up, being hungry enough that it would take 2 or 3 sandwiches. I cut back though. Like in 2015, Lisa Ruby and her satanic, devil worshiping, fake Christian husband, they used to try to narcissistically lecture me about eating 3 sandwiches, and that nagged my conscience and made me feel bad. Now, like, well, if I didn't, I met y'all from the internet. If I didn't know y'all, I probably would still be feeling guilt-free with eating 3 sandwiches. Hell, a whole bunch of men, they think it's okay, if they eat 4 ham sandwiches and call it lunch. And some chips and some cookies on top of that. And I don't know how they still stay skinny. Or if they would brag about eating 2-foot-long subs. But I remember when I was living in Greenville, South Carolina, they had people at Zaxby's and also downtown Subway in Greenville, South Carolina. And I don't know, I didn't even realize it was gang stalking at the time. But, I don't even much eat Subway that much. Ever since I heard about the tuna being fake, I try to not eat at Subway. Plus, they will always perp and abuse me at Subway. Excuse me. So, I think I don't even remember if I had Subway in Cincinnati, but I had Jimmy John's. So Subway and Jimmy John's, they will always be rude and perp me, and like no matter what location. They do it worse than McDonald's, Wendy's, or somewhere else. So so if I were to go to I don't even really eat Subway anymore, but I would be poor and not having that much money. And I felt like Zaxby's would be quite expensive anyway. But, when I lived in Greenville, South Carolina, I would feel ashamed at buying the fried chicken and the bread and fries or whatever. And everybody else around me is eating salads. And I feel like it's as if it was just, abusive, narcissistic, fake self-righteous perping, to manipulate me to feel a certain way when I couldn't even afford the salads anyway, But then when I would go to Subway, it would take me and I didn't do this all the time. It would take me a whole foot-long sub to get me full. But I would see people who would be obese men who would be narcissistic and self-righteous, ordering a 6-inch, a whole bunch of perps coming in self-righteously, narcissistically and self-righteously, rubbing it in my face about, if you're big and obese though, you're bigger than me, bigger than what I was. And you come in my face and self-righteously order a 6-inch sub to give me that false reminder that, oh, she greedy. So, excuse me. To give false proof that I'm greedy. But how did you get so big and obese? Remember in, I think it was late 2021 when I was staying at the motel in Gulf Breeze, part of Pensacola, And one day I went next door to the Waffle House, and they had these perps that took like maybe a la carte items or appetizer or something like that. And it seemed like they came there just to tell me, stuff that I order. I ordered the All-Star almost every time I go to Waffle. Not every time, but nearly every time. And almost every time I go to Waffle House. And then so she sat near me just to tell me, oh, that's a lot. You ordered, oh, that's a lot of food. Like, big shit. Like, but then she would have been the victim if she would have got bitch slapped. But I'm glad I'm not on psychiatric medications anymore, because the psych medications make you more hostile and violent, and so does sleep deprivation. But good thing I kept my cool, but I guess me knowing she was a perp kind of helped me to be able to handle it better. Of course it offended me, but I knew she had an agenda. And then they took, it's like, you motherfuckers, y'all the greedy ones, y'all ate so little in front of my face because y'all probably, y'all probably sat there and, you probably ate before you came there, and then pretended to make yourself a fake customer and fake eat something, just to come in. I'm like, and then just like y'all, they had a strategically planned to come there just to fuck with me, because they know they couldn't walk into the restaurant and just say something and then walk out. Why would you come and just do this to me? I don't freaking understand. Like, leave me alone and mind your damn business. You didn't pay for it. I worked for this shit. I worked for that. I freaking worked. I worked for that $11, $12 meal. Well, the whole meal would be $9 something, but if I ordered a juice with it, but it's like, but during that time, I had my job and I wasn't begging or asking for much or nothing. Or it might have been right after the workplace mobbed me off the job. Who knows? I don't remember. But it's like, and then the abusive fake foster family back in 2006, they used to, narcissistically lecture me, talking about me eating too much sugar. But I heard that psychiatric medications make people crave sugar more. And, sugar being addictive like a drug, it's hard to pull away from. Processed foods and everything. See? The fake Darnell Williams perp came again. Another fake account that said, at least we don't use the restroom on ourselves. Not ourselves, but ourselves. So, as I said, you got poor grammar. He's using my pictures again. As I said, all that harassment, and I think that's him behind that fake-ass Minister Pensacola account on YouTube. Look up Minister Pensacola and see how they manipulate my videos to make me look bad. Some people said that they saw through what he was trying to do. Oh, if it wasn't him, I don't know who that is, but what coward is behind that account? So, they even have other fake they just make so many fake mockery and memes out of my suffering and my torture and targeting. Psychologically and mentally and emotionally, I think I have it the worst in the so-called TI community, and then getting gang stalked by people who claim that they're TIs. Or they avoid me like the plague and don't fuck with me. And then fake TI perps love to call me, abusive, narcissistic, fake TI perps love to call me greedy as well. But, as I said, being traumatized growing up, being abused growing up. I mean, y'all obsessed with talking about me and food and stuff, but I mean, how y'all gonna say something like that? And would you rather me? I mean, me eating a whole bunch of food, it doesn't harm other people, only myself, and self-medicating with food. But I stopped that quite a long time ago with certain health scares and everything. And situations where I could have died. Suffering depression and dealing with narcissistic abuse. I mean, I nearly, unintentionally, because I felt like it seemed like as if I was debating on whether or not to commit suicide or not, or stay alive after the damage that Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst did to me. And then for Darius to come and do the exact same thing, and then for another person to come and do, a person named Amanda to come do the exact same thing. So, like Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst, I was distracted by, being homeless and everything, and haven't had much of a chance to heal from what Lisa Ruby and Tracy Broadhurst did to me. So, and then they had a lady that gave a narcissistic lecture like that Saturday. It was 2016. It wasn't 17. It was in October. It was before my cousin Blake got shot and killed. And so, a lady had gave me a narcissistic lecture about me having too much sugar. Because they had at the farmers market, they had these people that was selling praline candy, and it tasted so good. And I let them know I'm from New Orleans, so they loved me enough that they gave me, they would give me free pralines. And that day they gave me like at least 5 free pralines to take home. And you can always, freeze pralines for later. You can freeze them for later and stuff like that. So I've told this story before. This lady meddled in my business. I think she was another vendor, and I don't remember what other products she was selling, but she tried to narcissistically lecture me about, eating all that sugar or too much sugar or whatever. And it ate me up and got underneath my skin, emotionally. Because, I've been, ever since elementary school, I've been triggered about being falsely called greedy. And the fake Darnell Williams perp, he falsely called me greedy grand perp when he's fucking fat. I can tell in those, I mean, if you listen to the sex trafficking audio that I showed, he sounds like a fat person. He doesn't sound like he's skinny. And he might be fucking bedridden. Bedridden or living in his mom's basement or some shit. Trolling people. Miserable as fuck. But trying to bring me down. And no, I don't want to, and I don't want to be a slave to I don't want to be a sex slave to anybody trying to call me greedy. You don't have a right to fuck me. How about that? You don't have a right to enter inside of me. So, so, I mean, that day, I thought it was October 27th, but I guess it was a Sunday, October 23rd, 2016. Well, it was 23rd, 25th, or 27th. One of those days. And I was wrestling on whether or not to off myself. And then And so then you know, I ate five. I had originally intended to maybe eat one praline a week because I was trying to work on improving my health and eating more natural and losing weight. But but I was affected for a long time, and I was on some medication that So okay, I get the name mixed up. If you got sciatica medication, I forgot the name of it. I cannot remember the name, but meclizine is used for the vertigo and dizziness. But there's a name, I cannot remember the name for the medication for I can't remember the name for the medication for sciatica. But that medication, I was considered not diabetic, but it made my body react a certain kind of funny to sugar. And then so they switched me to ondansetron. That messed me up even more and caused my sleep deprivation to be way worse. And they were hitting me with direct energy weapons way worse in Greenville, South Carolina. So what happened was, it was like September, somewhere approximately around Labor Day, the day that fucking cat gave me some doggone fleas. It was a stray cat that was extra friendly. And for the first time, it was walking around the neighborhood. I was going for walks and exercising. And the cat had, was friendly, extra friendly for whatever reason. And so I don't know why the cat was so friendly. And then next thing you know, I had fleas I had a difficult time trying to get rid of. But eventually I got rid of them. It was a hard battle, but I got rid of them. It was around that time. So then, I think it was right around Labor Day. I went to this place I think it was called Mass General Store on Main Street in Greenville, South Carolina. I think that was the name of it. I used to love that store. And I also loved the Swamp Rabbit Cafe and Grocery. And I loved Ingles Grocery Store. And I loved the Farmer's Market. It was a few things that I really loved and missed from Greenville, South Carolina. But just not the people. And I hated riding the buses. And yeah. So anyway. So I haven't had candy in a long time. Because I guess when I tried the so-called raw vegan diet and was deceived by it, that made me eat more. And always hungry. But you got to have meat. Because meat, will help you feel stronger. So, without meat, I heard that the New World Order and the New Agers want you to be vegetarian or vegan so that you can't be strong enough to fight back in war. Or, to survive. That's why they're trying to weaken people and giving people processed and bad food and all that. I'm not genetically or naturally greedy. I'm not naturally a greedy person or a gluttonous person, but y'all abusive narcs in that fake foster care system forced me to see a psychiatrist and take medication. They fed us trash in school, having us living off of donuts and pizza, and you didn't want to cook for no dog. What's the point of having cafeteria ladies in high school and all y'all did was serve people donuts and pizza? What are y'all there for? I mean, y'all some cafeteria ladies just serving pizza? Domino's? And we only get one slice or we only get one donut? No wonder the kids were fighting so much. I also heard that processed foods can control people's behavior also. So, me, it was like, I guess I just had this nostalgic moment. I haven't had candy in a long time because I had quit eating Snickers. Mostly, every now and then I might have but I be trying to not eat Snickers. I mean, I haven't had Snickers in a while. You know, but I be trying to not eat Reese's or Kit Kats much anymore. But I still, like when I was homeless, I would be eating like cookies and candy and stuff because it might be all I have the money for. If I might have just enough money for a bag of Doritos, and that was the point in time I was trying to not eat Doritos, but I had this nostalgic moment of the old candy from back in the 80s and stuff. So one day I went to Mass General Store and bought some bulk candy. And then I sat down at Falls Park and just try to clear my mind or whatever and just watch the little waterfall or whatever. And then afterwards, I think later on that night or the next day, I woke up with sciatica and the pain in my right hip. And I didn't realize that was caused by me eating so much sugar or so much candy. I mean, I binged on candy that I haven't had in years or haven't had in a long time. So I guess, all that candy caused that sciatica and inflammation. It was my fault. So then, it got bad to the point where I couldn't walk. And I ended up with having to call the paramedics, and they diagnosed me with sciatica, and then they gave me some medication. And, but one time trying to treat myself with the sciatica, I had took some, I thought the pain was never going to go away, but I took some apple cider vinegar and cilantro and probably lemons and honey. I don't remember what concoction I had, but, it helped take the pain away totally. But then I tried it again and it didn't work. So I felt bad to, go to medication instead of the natural route, or I shouldn't have ate all that freaking candy in the first place. So then, but that had affected me, like the medication for the sciatica. It affected me and made me hypersensitive to sugar, made my body feel hypersensitive to sugar. Even though I kept testing negative for diabetes, I had changed my diet around. And then January 2008, and I had forced to cut all that sugar out. And I lost a lot of weight. Dropped down from 320 all the way down to and then I got down to 275. And then by 2019, the end of 2018, early 2019 was the smallest I got, way down to 192. And so, 192 pounds. But, when I found out that Blake got shot and killed, I think it was later that Friday. I think I remember it was a cold and rainy day. And they had this narcissistic control freak fake friend named Regina that had a 13-year-old gay son named Tyreek. She said he was autistic, but he seemed normal. And he was 13 and thought he was a grown woman, And I didn't realize she was a perp. But she was a narcissistic control freak, fake friend, and fake Christian. And she was a perp. I didn't even realize that her and her son were perps. And they lived in my apartment complex. So, I don't remember them coming to my apartment, but I was invited to come to their apartment a couple of times. But, I try to do nice things for them, But they had this Mexican couple above me, and they never bothered me. They didn't act like perps, and I think they were good Christians. And I think they were legal in America. I think they were legal Mexicans in America, And so that one time they were nice enough that they offered, they gave me, they cooked dinner for me one time and gave me some dinner. I think they were like the main people who never really bothered me, and almost everybody else in that freaking complex were damn perps, and I didn't realize what the hell was going on. You know, so so then when I went to because Dollar General was the closest store, I went over there. It was like a couple of days after my cousin Blake got shot and killed. It was like a few days after. Excuse me. And also, I was wrestling. I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't handle it. I even, went through a gluttony phase, overeating, when the biological parents passed away. And people gave me such a hard time, and I couldn't even make her funeral. I mean, that did something to me. And I was sitting here binging on Chewy chips and like cheese curl chips and lots of junk food, and got from $2.45 up to $2.79 after the biological mom Frances passed and biological dad Arthur. I mean, losing two parents back to back, and y'all falsely accused me of lying for attention. I put proof of an obituary in front of your face, and you still don't believe me. And you falsely accused me of just trying to, get pity, sympathy, and attention. You didn't want me to get help to get down there. I mean, that fake New City church that David Jane tried to tell me to go to, and then he tried to send me to this fake church called the Good News Church that turned out to be a Korean cult. And David got mad at me for telling him that that's a cult. So and so then David tried to be like, well, Candy cursed the church pastor out. Well, that was a fucking cult leader, and I don't even remember if I cussed him out, but he was the one who said something smart ass and rude towards me. So that was when I was living in Los Angeles. But yeah, it was around the time when the biological mom Frances died. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to believe me. I didn't realize they were all abusive, narcissistic perps. I called myself trying to take gardening classes for therapy. Nobody wanted me there. And then they tried to trap me and not let me get rid of the gardening plot. And when I tried to ask for assistance on gardening, excuse me, on trying to grow the plants and the edible food and stuff, and nobody wanted to help me. So, yeah, I mean, I couldn't even take up the gardening courses or for therapy, for my personal therapy, trying to grieve the biological parents' death, And so, none of the biological family members cared to help me get down there. Pete and Mark made false promises to send for me to have the money to get down there to New Orleans. And so-called churches around Los Angeles didn't even want to help me. And I was abused and oppressed by that fake Kevin Ha. I call him Keeval Fraud. And he bragged about his church being a mega church. I mean, you just lavishly spent on a 5-year anniversary church, and I mean, a 5-year anniversary party, and Kevin Ha, what he said was when I told him the biological mom passed, and he said, well, show me the obituary, and I'll get you the funds to get down there. I mean, and more than one church I went to, and these fuckers did not want to help. And then they had this abusive, narcissistic, fake church pastor from El Salvador that had the fake church right across the street from my house in Los Angeles. And, they forced me to sit through the church service, and then They passed the plate around and they were giving stingy amounts of money to help me. Didn't even want to help me because they were all perps. And then, you know, they lied and said that they were going to help me get with them funds to get down there. And I got not even $100, you know. But they lied to me and said that they were going to help me with the funds to get down there. But, you know, they were putting deliberately with the gang stalking manipulation, you know, just putting crumbs up in there. And the gang stalking also ramped up and got way worse when the biological mom, Frances, died. And my twin sister slandering me to my neighbors and having my neighbors acting like perps and ain't acting the same. One of my neighbors, Ron, he admitted to me that my twin sister called him up and lied and said that, you know, that I touched Raven and all that. And he was acting weird. I mean, because my neighbors, they used to love me. Like family. Saw me off first sight and loved and accepted me like family. And because if it weren't for my phone being messed up and my twin sister, I don't know what witchcraft spell she did to cause the phone to nearly blow up in my face when me and her had an argument one time. And then, you know, I didn't have a phone when the biological mom, Frances, passed away. And so my twin sister pretended to fake like she wasn't mad at me no more, like we were on good terms. And she, you know, she even acted fake and self-righteous or whatever. She had enough money that she could have got me down there. So, well, yeah, over $5,000 a month. Yeah, she could have got me down there. From fake military benefits, she could have got me down there. But they don't even see me as family, though. If any of them wanted to pay, then they would try to make me pay them back. But they borrowed money from me and use it to take advantage and think they're entitled to not pay me back, not have to pay me back. But I don't ask my family for shit. You know, and so with that Salvadorian church, before I can even get my words out, you know, he got in my face and said, "We already gave you over $100. That's what more do you want? That's all we have." Like, and if you're supposed to be a Christian and love the Lord, you don't talk to people like that. Y'all deceived and lied to me. Forced me to sit through this church service. Fake ass church service. You know, and made false promises to help me. At least they did something. But Kevin Hahn, he didn't do shit like he promised. That Korean rich guy. With the fake mega church. And that was a cult too. And I didn't know. That David Jane talking about New City Church, that's a good church. He figured because the church serves a lot of food, that makes it a good church. So, it made me feel sick how dirty this fake Kevin Hahn, what he did to me. It made me feel so sick what he did to me. And then get up on stage and talk about the love of God. I mean, in Greenville, South Carolina, I went to certain churches. It was called, what was it called? Clearview Baptist Church in Travelers Rest. I think it was South Carolina. And white ladies giving me mean, dirty looks like they want to whip my ass for nothing. In church, for nothing. I mean, I've had Olive Baptist Church in Pensacola, stalking, perping, and harassing me. And following me around and treating me like a whole damn terrorist and everything. Just because I had a hood on my head and it was cold. Under 40 degrees. So, I don't think God cares about some doggone dress code as long as you ain't naked. So, where they have a church where you can't wear a coat, where you can't, that's cult like, where you can't wear a freaking coat when it's cold. And they had a white lady that was a witch wearing all red, or she was wearing a lot of white and red. Almost all those seats were empty, and then she comes sit right next to me with a deceitful looking smile on her face, and just really gave me the creeps. I thought she was a witch, but I didn't realize she was also a perp. And they have a lot of people act like as if they expose witches on assignment, destroying churches. So anyway, back to Blake. You know, when that Regina lady, she mocked and made fun of me and tried to make it like I'm greedy for buying up so much junk food. And then talking about that, oh, it's too cold to be walking around with, because I think I had on a hoodie and shorts. I was mental, and I probably had a whole bunch of dirty clothes, and that was probably the only clean clothes I had and didn't have. So I was mentally, of course, my cousin just got shot and killed. Of course I ain't going to be in my right mind. So those, I think it was Little Debbie donut sticks. Like I ate 3 one part of the day and then 3 later on, and my body had the shakes again. And so I called the ambulance, and I was, I heard horrific things happen to you when you be suicidal in Greenville, South Carolina. Like they had this guy from New York that was homeless, and he was homeless on the streets in Greenville, South Carolina. And one time he said something about how they put him in this hold and that he had to be in belly cuffs or something like that for 72 hours. That is torture. Somebody already, down and out, and you're going to torture him even more? That's not healing. He was like a homeless panhandler in Greenville, South Carolina, who I think they arrested him for panhandling or something. They have 0 tolerance for homeless people. I don't know what his situation was, But I think I remember that same guy, they arrested him for panhandling, being a homeless panhandler in downtown Greenville, South Carolina. So, and he was street homeless. He wasn't at the shelters or anything. But, yeah, that Regina lady, her name was Regina Bunting. And she made ignorant comments, about me buying up so much junk food and walking out in the cold, and say, oh, you're going to get sick. And now is not the time to be fucking with and harassing me. Damn it. My cousin got shot and killed. And then me and my twin sister used that time to pick a big, huge argument with me. I lost a narcissistic, control freak, fake Christian friend named Jenna. Her name was Jenna Eisenberg, fake slutty Jenna. A fake abusive, narcissistic, fake hypocritian slut. Jenna Eisenberg. She got hateful and turned against me and cut off all contact with me. When, my cousin got shot and killed, my twin sister picked an argument with me. Jenna thought I was just being full of drama and cut off all contact with me. And she was a very controlling, abusive, and narcissistic, and she was younger than me. And her and that boyfriend, his name is David also. She would try to she was one of those narcissistic, control freak, fake friends who would try to come to me about her complaints and problems and drama. But, when I do it, I'm a negative drama queen. Or she didn't want to hear anything. She was narcissistic and didn't want to hear anything about end times or, she was, and then she tried to insinuate that I'm crazy and need to see a psychiatrist and take medicine. She tried to tell me about Los Angeles people being fake and the further south of California that you go, then you know, that's the faker they are. But you fake yourself. I think I met her at I think that was Seal Beach in California that we met on Labor Day, and I don't remember if it was 2014 or 2015. But I think she said she was half Mexican, half Jewish, or half Hispanic, half Jewish or something. But yeah, I mean, I went through lost everything and everybody, and you know, the family wasn't gonna call, they weren't gonna call me or my twin sister. My twin sister said she found out by posts on Facebook about family members of the friend. I'm sorry, friends of the family. I meant to say, friends of the family. Friends of the family had called her. Had mentioned on Facebook about Blake getting shot and killed. So you know, that caused me to overeat too. You know, so excuse me. So I mean, like yesterday I had some oh, it's already 12:11. So Mama said the day before yesterday, Sunday, because now it is Tuesday. What's today? Tuesday, June 13th, 2023 at 12:11 a.m. in the morning. So Sunday, I was craving some Doritos. Now, like, well, if I'm craving any kind of freaking corn, I'm eating some doggone cheesy grits. That ought to settle it. So, well, it was, I'll say, less than 12 hours ago, I had the last of the cake. So, I don't have much of any junk food in the house now. Except that one slice of cheese. So, so I don't have any junk food or snacks or whatever really in the house. But I have the Tang that I drank only one time. And that Tang seems like it's high sugar. And a hot cocoa. I haven't touched the hot cocoa yet, but I had the Tang only one time. So, like even several hours ago, you know, I felt like I was craving junk food. But that's funny because when I was living off of Dollar General, I was, you know, for that month, I was craving something healthy. And even Sunday, I was craving fruit. I'm glad I didn't care what fruit. I just wanted something fruit, you know, some real fruit to eat. So, I didn't realize they say that people aren't really gluttonous or greedy, but they're gluttonous or so-called greedy because they're nutrition starved. So, just like the medication masks the pain of healing whatever injuries or illness you have, junk food just masks your hunger. And we're sitting here just getting bigger because of all the toxins our body's being filled with. You know, and people say that baby carrots is fake and killing you. And that they've been, you know, refined, bleached, and deodorized and altered and manipulated. And I'm like, well, I thought baby carrots was real. Come to find out, baby carrots is fake. So, some people think that junk food is just processed or sweet food or chips or something, like cookies, candies, and chips and stuff or something. And I didn't realize that you can have a nutritious, healthy, guilt-free version of cookies, brownies. Like if people have like beet brownies or zucchini pound cake or something like that, you can alter the ingredients to be extremely healthy and guilt-free, and you're filling yourself up with nutrition, rather than just being empty calories and junk, and you just reaching for more and hungry. And we're so many of us is, we're fat, sick, nearly dead, and weak. They have a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And I guess I'm fat, sick, and nearly dead. So, yeah, as I said, with that coarse, naturally ground peanut butter, that you just grind the nuts. And, that plus one sandwich of the Ezekiel 4:9 bread, that had me satiated for the night. One Ezekiel 4:9 bread sandwich and an orange, I was good for the night. I probably, if it was junk food bread from any of these dollar stores, I'd probably be hungry again, So I'm just showing y'all that, if you eat a certain diet, then if you can eat organic, natural, and healthy enough, you ain't got to be a glutton. So, and so it feels like, I say I don't really have the money. I mean, it's like, I got food up in here, I got food up in here, but I'm sitting here feeling withdrawals, like a drug, like feeling withdrawals from that junk food, and like craving junk food. But then, as I said, I was, craving healthy when I had the doggone junk food. But I heard that sometimes you might go through a phase, and then after a while you end up not craving those kind of bad foods no more. So on TikTok I saw that people had this little thing called Texas Toast Pizza. And that gave me an idea. I got one slice of cheese left. But I could change what I wanted to do. I mean, I haven't had pizza since being here. I mean, I haven't had pizza or hot dog. I mean, I be trying to not eat hot dogs that much anyway. But they had the hot dogs, and I had hot dogs a couple of times, and that from the Skyline Chili, or yeah, I think one time I had the actual hot dogs at Skyline Chili, and they were actually good. But that the other chili, the Gold Star Chili, it was flavorless, bland, and nasty. But Skyline Chili in Cincinnati was actually pretty good. So I mean, I tried the Gold Star Chili in Springdale that one time, and it was just flavorless and nasty. But Skyline Chili downtown Cincinnati, really good. So I think that was about the only. But I mean, in Pensacola, I seldom had hot dogs. But when I did, it was the Doghouse Deli I had a couple of times. But they had some good ass food. But they used to perk the shit out of me really bad. And I had an altercation with one of the owners, I guess. Was an abusive narc that didn't want me there. And he picked an argument with me around the time that all my stuff got stolen. And he kicked me out just for appearing with the suitcase. because all my stuff got stolen, and then somebody had from the YMCA or whatever had gave me that suitcase. So I was walking around with a suitcase, and I'm like, well, how many rich? You just did that to me because of homeless prejudice. How many rich people? How many rich people? If I was rich, if I appear to be rich and or something, and carrying around that suitcase, you wouldn't have said nothing, or I would have been welcome. But wait a minute, no, I didn't have a suitcase. I think I had an extra bag. But that's what they do in downtown Pensacola. If they give you a rough time being homeless, because if you carry around more than one bag, you get treated like you're obvious homeless and get treated with discrimination. So I had to find hiding spots, and perps watching me all the time. That's how my stuff got stolen. So and I got wrongfully, people start to act funny, they act weird, and that's what abusive narcissistic whore Heidi, what she did, was she from the fake satanic O'Reilly's place, and they were all devil worshiping perps over there. I didn't even know it at the time until later on. Those O'Reilly's skanks. So I mean, they sit there and I had the altercation with Heidi. I mean, like, when I had one bag, I was very welcome. But then, I went through, I had my sleeping bag with me coming from out of the hotel from after dealing with Hurricane Ida. And that's when she treated me with discrimination and wrongfully banned me. And then the actual owners couldn't give me, they acted like they didn't want to give me a straight answer on whether or not I was welcome there. And then you give the lower level manager, you ask them for permission. Of course you're going to say, hell no, I don't want you. You're not welcome. But I mean, Heidi used to love me enough. But one thing I hate what she used to do was, as soon as I'm walking in, she already fixing me two before because sometimes I wouldn't even have enough money, and she would fix me two cups of pineapple juice. I wouldn't ask for pineapple juice all the time, but I would usually ask for one, but they will offer refills. But if she would love me enough that sometimes she wouldn't charge me, but I hate when she would fix me on pineapple juice that I didn't ask for and then charge me for it. So I wouldn't know whether or not she's going to charge me or not. So, and they used to perp and cheat me out my food over there too. But as I said, I would never have gone to bars and stuff. I don't go there to drink alcohol, but if that's one of the few things I can go to downtown to eat and charge my phone, so that I can, if I gotta be out at night, live on the streets and stuff, I had to keep my phone charged, and keep on recording all the gang stalking and the harassment and everything else. So I mean, but when I was homeless on the streets in New Orleans, I never really went into the bars. And you know what? I wasn't really filming and recording everything I do either. Because that was before I got the full picture of gang stalking and their harassment tactics and everything. So I mean, so yeah, in 2018, I didn't even know it. Like in 2018, I didn't even know that the so-called TI community existed. I knew that I was targeted, but I didn't know that there was a community of people to come together and talk about their experiences. So So yeah, but yeah, they had, this person, like, how is it that if you reach out to me and offer for me to have your phone, for you offer to talk to me on the phone, and then one day you start smacking food in my ear, and when I tell you I have a hypersensitive ear condition, and then you secretly pull away from me and start acting weird, and you do video after video after video making like you're exposing narcissistic abuse, you know and you claim you're a sex worker. And so the one time I told you that, my ears are sensitive to, the loud chewing in my ear talking on the phone. So then she secretly separated herself from me and then started to act weird, start to act like a perp. And then you turn around and say that you falsely, it's like you act like you're trying to falsely call me a covert narcissist. And then it seemed like she wouldn't even stay on the phone that long. And she would act like a narcissistic abuser that's hard and mean, And it's like, well, if you're a sex worker, who are you to judge me? And you act narcissistic and controlling, and you be yelling at me and stuff. But, and she trying to do a fake video talking about can Skate, like after she secretly got off the phone with me, and then she did a fake video that I knew was directed at me and said, well, can scapegoats be a covert narcissist? Yes, they can. So she separated herself from me. Then she said her account got deleted. Okay, if your account got deleted, you separated yourself from me. So I thought you didn't like me, or I thought you didn't want to be bothered with me. And so today, well, I'm going to say yesterday because now Tuesday, but Monday, several hours ago, she did a video that I figured she was perping me, and that was subliminally directed at me, that because it showed up on the friends, it didn't it showed up. I didn't go looking for it, but then she tried to trying to say these certain things that, whoa, so what you trying to say, that I'm a covert narcissist? But how come you can act narcissistic and controlling? I don't tell you what to do. I don't be trying to tell you how to live your life. And I don't abuse or manipulate. So, I felt triggered by one of her posts. And then if she would do a few, like she would tell me over the phone that, oh, I used to think I was being gang stalked, but I don't want to be, or she said something about that she thought that when she believed that she was gang stalked, that she thought she was in a different world dimension or something. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she shuts me down or dismisses me every time I try to let her know that gang stalking is a tactic of narcissistic abuse. And she trying to separate the two and try to make like they have nothing to do with each other. But then she started doing weird. I didn't feel comfortable with her having access to my phone number in the first place. Then she started to do weird perp shit. And I cut off all contact with her. And then she got a new account and then came and tried to follow me again. But it seemed like she was also trying to love bomb and butter me up, and now all of a sudden withdrew the support and started using stuff against me that I said. When she claimed that the same stuff happened to her too. She acted like she might be a little bit older than me, but she started to act like a narcissistic control freak fake friend. But all you do is post video after video all day about narcissistic abuse when you act narcissistic and controlling yourself. So then recently she did a video acting like as if she's exposing gang stalking. But when I try to show her stuff, she acts like she don't want to hear or she be dismissing me. And I really believe that she's a perp. But then she tried to say her daughter turned against her and started to be abusive and act a certain way. And I try to tell her that, well, your daughter's a gang stalker or your daughter's a perp. But then she tried to make like her daughter's just a narcissist. By like, well, if your daughter betrayed and turned against you, and she tried to say that her daughter's eyes started to turn evil, that her daughter used to have light in her eyes. Well, if you're being gang stalked, it's like you just think that girl is just a narc. But if she doing all that, she's a fucking perp too. But then you starting to maneuver funny and act weird towards me and make me feel like I regret even talking on the phone with you or giving you my phone number. And you keep a distance from me. But I'm like, well, if you think I'm a covert narcissist, in which I know I'm not, I'm sitting here suffering freaking PTSD and still being victimized by narcs every freaking day. Victimized by gang stalkers every day. Y'all the ones who continue to abuse me every day. It's not in the past because it's still current. It's still present. Y'all still doing it to me. So why would you come in when your account gets shut down? Why would you come on another fake new account? Why would you come and follow me and be pressing the like button on my post if you feel like I'm a covert narcissist? But you wouldn't tell me that you thought that about me to my face or over the phone or told me directly. You just secretly separated yourself from me and started acting weird. See, that's what I be talking about. And people narcissistically demand that I give them my phone number. Just for you to betray me and start acting different. You short-fused and straight up yell at people or lash out on people for nothing. And get angry and yell for nothing. Or you try to project your prostitution and your sex working or whatever that you do, whatever lifestyle that you got. You try to project that onto me. And when I told her about the fake Darnell Williams perp trying to traffic me or whatever, she just started adding in fake stories, projecting her life onto me, and try to falsely make it like as if I met up with or I knew Darnell. It was the white guy that posing as the black person's name. No, I don't know the real identity of this fake Darnell Williams perp that keep harassing me online. I don't know his real identity. I never saw a picture of him, and I think he's going to try to make sure I never see his face. But, I'm hoping that God will reveal to me this guy's face and name. He might be a female to male transgender or New World Order robot. Because you sure got multiple personalities. As I said, I never lived for the pimp and hoe lifestyle. Never did, and I don't know really much of anything about pimping and hoeing. I don't do drugs. I can't even identify drugs. So, as I said, they think that they can try to just harass me and think that they can beat me into submission. It's disgusting and sick. And the same people who trying to traffic me, they want to be self-righteous about trying to control people's behavior and self-righteous about rules and laws. You want to try to control somebody's behavior, but you abusive and narcissistic that you divorce your freaking husband or manipulate or make up an excuse to divorce him and then steal somebody else's husband and then harass and bully, the other husband's wife, that the husband that you're trying to snatch from his wife, and then you perp and abuse his wife and try to make her out to look crazy. You got a sister that's pregnant. You're abusive and narcissistic that you physically abuse and beat on your ex-husband. You're a man beater. And then you beat on your freaking child. Or you hate your daughter. But your son is the golden child. You hate your granddaughter. But you physically abuse and beat on your pregnant sister. Oh, and you're invincible and won't even get arrested or go to jail. But you think that your pregnant sister standing up for herself, you think that she get what she deserved if she a victim of police brutality and the abusive narcissistic gang stalking police will sit there and stomp on her pregnant belly or something after you done punched out her pregnant belly. And it must be God carrying that person to still be alive, that her and the baby still alive. Well, if the baby come out deformed, it's your fault. And you better not freaking call your niece retarded. And you're sitting there calling your own sister crazy. Conspiring to blood sacrifice people. But you're narcissistic and self-righteous and sitting there talking about, all I wanted was to see everybody do better. Bitch, sit the fuck down. An abusive, narcissistic, fake military slut. You in your 40s still hoeing. And then trying to hide like you think you're holier than that. Bitch, go somewhere. Go fry in hell, punk. I mean, it's like people just make me fucking sick. Like, really. I mean, I cannot. I just can't. I don't understand the self-righteousness, though. Well, all the wickedness that they do, and they just want to point out everybody else, what they want to perceive as everybody else's flaws. But you out here hoeing in your mid-40s. And then try to hide it. You got a whole husband that's living and trying to steal other people's husband. Excuse me. And you're an abusive, narcissistic bully. Yeah, trying to set your own doggone sister up. If you try to set your own sister up to be, your own pregnant sister to be targeted, you got your own sister put on the gang stalking list, you set her up to be targeted for running from a cult, and then she's pregnant, you turn her baby daddy against her because you feel like you try to put it in that man's head to believe that your sister is crazy, and then you try to set your own sister up to, like, you set your own sister up to be locked up in a mental institution. You set your own sister up to have the police to step on her pregnant belly or trying to squeeze or and after you done punch her pregnant belly and just do all this cruel stuff. And you trying to call the police, you and your son, your favorite child, team up together and, set your own sister up to, it's like you're trying to get your own sister, to be considered mentally ill and trying to get her to be set up to be shot and killed by the police while pregnant. Motherfucker, you got 2 lives of blood on your hands if that's the case. Just because she don't want to submit to the fucking cult. Ooh, that's a good, that would be like a, no, I don't want to say good, but that would be, that could be, like a fictional, that could be like a kind of, I don't want to say graphic, but like a novel scenario. But shit like this, it happens a lot. It happens a lot in our daily life. In our daily lives, if you have, this gang stalking setup because somebody don't want to submit to a cult or something, that could be a short story I could write, or it could be a short story I could write, or it could be a whole damn novel. An idea for a novel, and no way in hell am I glorifying or embracing this. No, I'm here to expose and speak out against this type of wickedness and evil. And y'all say y'all Christians, y'all love the Lord, you delusionally believe that you're rapture ready. But this is the kind of stuff the hardcore gang stalking stuff you do. You're Masonic, and your blood sacrifice your doggone family members for money. You're already rich and living a high life, fraudulently and illegally driving around in a red Jaguar F-Pace. Like how, and your own sister struggling homeless on the streets, driving around in a green Chevy Cruze. And you try to set her up to get her daughter, your other niece, you're trying to set your own, you're trying to set your sister up to get taken away. You're trying to set your sister up to get her child taken away. You have your own sister blacklisted, and more blacklisted than me. And can't even get a job. I'm going to say literally nowhere. Nowhere. Can't even get a job nowhere. And, if your sister's struggling to survive in Las Vegas or Reno, Nevada or Tempe, Arizona, but you living a rich folks' life, living your best life, partying, drinking, just living it up while your sister freaking suffering and you won't help her with a dime. You got a freaking Masonic dad that the dad won't do shit for the poor daughter that would be homeless, but you're rich living a high life, and your dad still spends lavish on you when you got so much money you don't need it. But they're going to sit there and let the pregnant sister freaking starve. You leave the pregnant sister to be hungry and starve. And she got a 5-year-old child. How dare y'all? And, somebody laugh and be like, haha, you better be careful because you're talking shit to Candy. Candy gonna cuss you out. So what? I can take a cussing out. So what? I can take an L. Let me translate that. So what? I can take a cussing out. I can take an L. Like, what the hell is that? What the hell does that mean? But then when I cuss you out, I have to experience you grudging against me and hating my guts for the rest of my life. You want the whole world to think Candy is the worst person in the world because if I call you ugly or if I call you a bitch, Candy's the most horrible person. Well, you shouldn't have fucking triggered and provoked me. Just meddling in my business, calling me greedy, harassing me for no reason. But, I thought I was the most hated. I thought I had it the worst. But it's a shock if somebody got it out here worse than I do, or more hated than me. But, you know, I mean, as I said, how many people who claim that they love the Lord and they want me destroyed? They don't want to see me prosper. And if an abusive religious narcissist falsely accuse me of being full of devils and say, may you get no peace until you get rid of those devils. Because you're projecting your whoredom and whatever evil life that you live. Now you falsely claim you're saved. And then you straight up tell me there's no hope in heaven for you. Because they feel like me coming out of a cult and me being hurt by the trauma and everything, you're going to sit there and re-traumatize me all over again. And kick me down even harder when I ask for, I'm a babe in Christ, a new Christian trying to reach out for help a few years ago. And get kicked down and re-traumatized all over again. And trying to say, forget about that foster. Talking about the foster mom. Forget about that foster mom. She is no longer in your life. It ain't that easy. But, I mean, I was coming out of a cult, transitioning to being a babe in Christ. And because of being forced to be, you know, socially isolated and had to deal with abuse in the church, couldn't even go to vacation Bible school without being perked and abused in Los Angeles. By your own black people. All y'all want to do is be talking about prostitution and pimps all day and football. And you tell me I'm going to hell? If you can watch football, then I can listen to Aaliyah. And don't tell me I'm going to hell, because if I'm going, you're going with me, motherfucker.